Welcome to another edition of Bury Your Bookie, a Tuesday edition. I'm Jeff Deforrest. Very happy to have you with us. And if you are with us, this is a message to my good friend Henry, who does a lot of work with nofilter.net and getting the word out about the program and the various programming on the network. And all I can say is, Henry, we did it. We fucking did it. It's great. Off to a good start here with our baseball selections. I don't know if it's a trend that's going to continue. We certainly hope so. But it's been a remarkable run so far, as we went to 4-0 with our selection last night of the New York Mets. We had to schwitz a little bit to get to that point. We do want to celebrate also. It's National Radio Day, and it's been a good portion of my lifetime in radio, about 40 years here in the South Florida market. In fact, I think if you went from left to right on a radio dial, you would have 560, 610, 640, 740, 790. I had to write them down: 850, 940, 1230. 1400, 1470, and maybe some others that have kind of sifted through the cracks there. But always dug the medium. It was one of my favorites. In fact, I think in just a few minutes here, we're going to be joined by a legendary radio performer here who still has a job in the industry. And that's a tribute, a testament to not only his greatness, but his longevity and, of course, his ability to sell and have the leverage to tell management to go fuck themselves. You can bet on this guy, and you can bet online as well. Bet Online, we're happy to be brought to you by betonline.com. It's the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football, from the preseason NFL to college kicking off. Bet Online has every stat, every matchup, even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. If you think you know your stuff, get online with Bet Online and the winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor Pool for the upcoming season. When the game's over, head on over to the online casino. You can play poker, you can play blackjack, and participate in over the 150 slot games that are available at BetOnline and betonline.com. Head to the website today and use the promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV. And you can get in on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here. All right, we were hoping to connect with my friend the Greek. Oh, my God, we did it. Oh, my goodness. There he is in the flesh. Now, let me introduce this gentleman to you on National Radio Day. I was just talking about this, Greek. You're the one guy who has survived the corporate intrusion into the creativity that is the radio business. It was my favorite. I grew up, the soundtrack of my life, the fabric of it, was Mel Allen, Red Barber, Phil Rizzuto, Yankee baseball. You heard it all over New York. I was lucky when I lived in L.A. to hear the great Vin Scully. I got into talk radio like you did many, many years ago. Back in the day when a guy used to call you up on one show and say, "Hey, DeForrest, your show sucks and you're an asshole, and I wouldn't spend 5 seconds with you if my life depended on it, and your opinions are all way off base." And you'd say, "Thank you very much for the call." And then he would finish with saying, "I'll never listen again." And the next day he would call you with the same call. Greek, how are you? How are you doing, my friend? Good to have you on the program. This is the
I'm
Greek,
great.
ladies and gentlemen.
Awesome.
The Lou Gehrig of gamblers, the luckiest man on the face of the earth. How are you?
Lou Gehrig. Wow. What is happening, my man? How are you? Good to have you on the show. Thank you.
Oh, well, I appreciate you coming on this early in the morning. National Radio Day, I don't know. Are you going to make a big deal of this on any of your shows today? I think you're on like 24 hours a day.
I didn't know. I didn't know until you told me it was National Radio Day. I'm going to go and ask for a raise. I'm like, come on, man. What are we doing?
And at least the people will listen before they go to the 3 martini lunch and decide, what are we going to do about this Greek? He's acting crazy. All right, good to have you on the program.
I said to my boss yesterday, how do you sleep at night taking advantage of me the way you do?
Yeah, at least you would like to be kissed. That's how the saying goes. If you're going to go ahead and fuck me, but that was. That's a whole long story that we can get into. We did want to get into some gambling, and you're one of the few guys I know that has success. Now we consider, success in general, but we consider it criminally insane, borderline Baker acting type of stuff. If you're betting preseason NFL football, and you thrive on this shit, Greek. How is that possible?
I've always liked it. I got involved in it like maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago with some guys in Vegas and read a lot. There was always some kind of angle, and anything in sports betting, you're going to lose, obviously. But preseason, we win more than we lose. We had another good weekend. A couple of games that just stuck out. to us and to me, and had a good time. The unders were great this weekend. I mean, there were so many unders that came in. Both games on Sunday stayed under. The Jets over Carolina. There was a couple games on Saturday that just looked, easy picking. There's a couple you lose, but we're definitely over 75% in preseason.
If there was a game that appeared it was destined to go over, it would have been the Pittsburgh versus the Buffalo Bills. You would have thought, because they were going to trot out Russell Wilson and Fields, and these guys are legitimately battling apparently for a wide open starting job. Although the general concession seems to be that Wilson will start the season, and then
Yeah.
Fields will take over later on. But you would think they would be putting some points on the board. 3 stinking points, Greek. This is why gamblers,
Well,
play Russian roulette every day with their capital. It's incredible how much money you can put up in smoke when the logic goes absolutely the opposite direction, and you can just throw it out the window.
Well, sports betting and gambling as a whole are like women. Do the opposite, and you'll probably win. I mean, that's
Yes,
the whole thing. You know what I mean? That's what it's like. And when you see the money going on one side, and even if it's your circle of 6 guys, 10 guys, text, if you see everybody on one side, you'd be like, I don't know. It doesn't seem too good. But again, you got to read the lines. I want to read the lines this week. Saturday, I like Georgia Tech plus 12 against Florida State. The following week, I like UNLV getting 2.5 against Houston. So, you got to look, you read, and again, you're going to lose. Everybody loses, but it's at the end of the day, it's winning more than you lose.
you have this direct pipeline to some guy in Las Vegas, though. I mean, what is the real story there, Greek? Well, what I love about you is that you don't embellish your selections with a whole ton
No,
of statistical material
no.
or trends. This was the second time that they're playing a left-handed quarterback after a full moon following a total eclipse of the sun. I mean, you don't
Yeah,
get into all of that stuff, but
no.
somehow on gut instinct, and you managed to be very prominent in those like Westgate type handicapping tournaments where you have to pick the
Yeah,
5 games. In fact, you won that one when unfortunately the guy that was booking the bets in the pool ran out of money and he had to pay off his bookmaker, and so it filtered down to you. And what we had to send some muscle to his house to get your money. Remember that?
you kill me. You really do. Now, football season's good because I know it's getting close. I don't even have the calendar because I'm starting to get more and more calls. Hey, how you been? What's going
Yeah.
on? How's the family? I don't have any family, so why are you asking me? I live alone. I'm by myself. How's my family? I said to my
And then
buddy
you don't
last
care.
night,
They just want to know what you have. Do you have Green Bay plus the
no,
points?
no. That's like years ago. I told a story about a bookmaker. He came to see me on a Tuesday, and he didn't want to ask me for the money. So,
Yeah.
small talk. What's up? How you been? Go to any good restaurants? Who you dating? Finally, he looks at me and goes, hey, you got that thing? And I said, hey, you got that thing? He goes, what do you mean? I said, I won. He goes, you didn't win. You lost. I said, no, I won. He goes, no, you lost. I said, he goes, hold on. So he went to the phone where we're at. He calls the office. He comes back and he goes, you're right. You're one. I'll see you Friday.
Here's your 2 dimes. I'll see you in the graveyard. That'll be great. You had some humble beginnings, though, into your degenerate lifestyle, including, and I guess this was as a teenager in New York, where you were going to gambling establishments. You had to kind of go through that scene in Deer Hunter, where they went through all the trap doors and the guys were playing Russian roulette. And 2 Russian roulette references in the same segment here, Greek. That's a lot of
Yeah.
suicidal thoughts. But I mean, you went to this underground casino where they were playing less than legitimate games of roulette. Did you not?
There was a Russian guy who had a business, and it was the bottom of a Bordego. You kept going past doors, walking down, and then we walked in. I thought I was in Caesars. I couldn't. There was so much smoke in there.
Yeah.
I couldn't see like 2 feet ahead of me. But the money was flowing, and it really was like you were in Caesars. Then you walked outside into this alley, and it was like 5:30 in the morning. I thought I was going to see like Robert De Niro hanging out with Joe Pesci, and it was crazy though. It was a crazy scene. We went back a few times. The guy was nice, and a lot of these guys you end up becoming friends with. As long as you pay them and they pay you, there's no problems. I mean, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I like sometimes when guys didn't pay me, like they'd be like, "Hey, Greek, I got jammed up. Can I give you like half?" And I would love that because I always loved being the guy who could call in a favor. You know what I mean? So I was like, "Yeah, I don't care, whatever it is." But good guys. The Russian guy actually became a very good friend. He introduced me to this priest that I became very good friends with at St. Patrick's for years. And he was a nice guy. And he called me one day. He goes, this guy likes your moves, yada, yada. And it was a priest at St. Patrick's. And we became friends. We used to go to Mickey Mantle's. But the Russian guy, when you first met him, I thought he was going to be very difficult. But he turned out to be a sweetheart, a great gentleman, and always took care of us. But if he had a party or an event, you had to be there. You didn't want to hear anything.
What was the priest doing? Running a pick six pool at Santa Anita? What was his association with these cats? That's a wild beginning.
I used to meet my bookmaker, one of my bookmakers, at St. Patrick's Cathedral on the steps. So he used to see me pull up every week on Saturdays in a band dressed up, and he's like, "Who's this kid?" He goes, "I like his game." That's how I met him, because he was the priest at the church. And we became friends. And then one day we got lunch. We walked to Mickey Mantle's, him and me. I don't know if you've ever walked with a priest in your life, but when you walk with a priest, everybody looks at you, bows, "Hey,
Yeah.
Father." You know what I mean?
Oh, well respected in New York, for sure.
Yeah. And
No
he was
doubt
just
about
a
it.
great guy. He knew Mickey Mantle. At the end of Mickey, before Mickey passed, like one day he brought me over. Mickey was nice. And everybody loved him. Everybody knew him. Everybody liked him. And it just worked out.
No, it's great, and the fact that he was a stone degenerate, of course, is to be
Helped.
respected. I didn't have that same level of glamour when dealing with my own bookmaker, Louis the Lipschitz, who also was
Oh, God.
very. I mean, you would have to say had less than an impeccable reputation as a personal injury attorney, as well as being
He
the
was all
guy that
over the
was
board.
taking my action my entire life.
Yeah.
All right, have you looked at the slate? I mean, Greek, come on, don't hold out on us. This is Bury Your Bookie. We're 4-0 Major League Baseball.
What do you want?
We had to sweat out last night's Mets game against the Orioles. The Mets are in complete control. All they have to do is get one schmuck out in the seventh inning. They balk in a run. The guy that's at the plate hits a home run. It's 3-3. I'm figuring I'm dead meat. I'm going to be subjected to that cockamamie extra inning rule where they throw a guy on second fucking base. They hand him a Budweiser and they tell him, "Hey, score if you can, Louis." I tell you what, Joe's going to try and take one to right field.
Yeah, we had the Yankees Sunday night. We got screwed. Holmes comes in, he lets up a run. It was terrible. But
Boone is thinking about removing him after 10 blown saves in the last 11 games. He's thinking about maybe putting somebody else out there.
I think Boone should go, to be honest with you. I think they should take Boone out and make Kevin Hart the coach. He's too nice, Boone. Too nice.
No one's ever accountable, right? A guy's standing, he's planted at home plate as the ball dinks off the Fenway Park wall, and instead of being at second base with a double, the guy's barely able to make it. Almost gets thrown out at first, like he's in the Little League from left field. Pretty incredible. All right, I don't know if you've looked at the NFL preseason. I don't want to put you on the spot, Greek, but it is Bury Your Bookie here, and
I just get to earlier.
I know you gave us some college football, okay, but that's a week away. I mean, think about the audience that we're speaking to here.
No, Georgia Tech is
Saturday.
Is
that Saturday? Oh, okay.
They're playing Saturday.
And you're taking a point, and that goes against a growing trend, which seems to be, aren't those points starting to pile up in Georgia Tech's favor? As I think that was at like 11 and a hook, and it keeps climbing because everybody's thinking Florida State is going to just stomp on them.
The game's in Ireland, first of all, so it's going to be raining.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech's got a great quarterback. Florida State got really crushed with a lot of guys leaving. And I think Florida State will win, but I think Georgia Tech will stay close.
Okay, yeah, I mean they're not still running that stupid triple option play, are they?
No, the triple option's gone.
I mean, offense that should have been banned like in the 1940s, and these guys are still trying to make it work.
Oklahoma did it for years and crushed it.
Yeah, and you were all in on the Chiefs, is that right, to win the championship again? Are they going to three-peat, Greek? Is that your theory?
I think they'll three-peat. Yeah, I think there's going to be, I think in the AFC there's 8 or 9 teams that can make a legitimate run. And the NFC, I only see 2 or 3. Philly, obviously, are they going to bounce back after losing 6 straight? I don't think you're going to get anything from Dallas. Green Bay is a dark horse. I like them at 22-1. Detroit, and of course the Niners. But the AFC is wide open. There really is. There's so many. I mean, you can think of 8 or 9 teams that actually, even that one division. You got the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Browns could all make a run. You got the Chiefs, obviously, at 4. You got the Jets, Miami, and Buffalo. You're up to 7. You got 8 or 9 teams that really can make a shot. But again, it's who's healthy at the end of the year and how the ball bounces.
All right, all good stuff, Greek. And this is a man, and I can vouch for this because I've seen it personally. Who, when he calls the Wynn Hotel, Steve personally gets on the phone and offers him his suite and says he'll move out and go stay at the Treasure Island before they tear it down.
Oh my God! I don't know if he says he'll move out, but he's always very nice to me.
I've seen it. I've seen it many times. You're the one guy I know too whose credit card is good at the Bellagio shops.
Oh,
Where,
thank you.
yeah,
Well, the guys you hang out with, come on.
well, it happened to me one time. I was seeing someone relatively new. We happened to be going out to Las Vegas on one of my freebie boxing trips, and so I take her with me, and I figure I'll buy her something nice. I didn't know her habits yet. And you can relate to this being in Boca Raton, Florida, where I mean, it has to be Gucci bag night to get a crowd at an FAU game. But
Yeah.
so anyway, we go to the shop in the Bellagio. Now you got to figure nothing is cheap there, right? I mean,
No.
you're not inclined to go and look for the bargains in these kind of stores anyway. So
Tic Tacs are $37.
yeah. So she picks out this tiny little purse, and I'm thinking, okay, what could this be? Like $150? Maybe
Yeah.
200. I'll go ahead and spring for it and look like a sport. And
Yeah.
the woman runs my credit card, and it was at the time I had like an American Express Platinum, so that anything could
Wow.
be up on this. And it wasn't a black card, but it was good enough.
Yeah.
And she wants me to sign for $6,436
Wow. Must
for a
have been a
fucking
Louis thing.
purse.
Fuck
I
that.
decided right then to lose the girl.
Yeah, I would have too.
I put her on a plane. We went right to McCarran. That was it.
I would have said, I'm out.
I'm out. That was it. For
I'm
those
out.
reasons,
I'm out.
I'm out.
6,200. My
Like a
God,
Shark
what do
Tank.
we stay in a month? Like,
All right, Greek,
God,
we're going to
forgive
go.
that.
We're diving in on Bury Your Bookie, your selection. Don't question the Greek. It doesn't matter about the logic.
Georgia
He's not
Tech.
inclined to give you all kinds of bizarre stats, like we said. Georgia Tech, you're getting 12 points. You're going to walk out a winner. Greek, always a pleasure. Thanks for doing this. I know
You're
you're
the
a very
best,
busy
Steve.
man. And
Well, no,
happy
never
National
too
Radio
busy for
Day.
you, my friend.
All right.
National Radio Day. I got it. Peace.
Thanks very much. The Greek, ladies and gentlemen, one of the greats in the business here. All right, so we've got a couple of things to go over, and we appreciate him. He really is the luckiest guy on the face of the earth. You're not going to get this mumbo jumbo with all kinds of bizarre. We were talking about the other day qualifiers and quantifiers, but somehow every year that we've had him on our shows, he always comes up a winner. So definitely somebody to pay attention to. I believe there may be a direct pipeline to somebody in Las Vegas who happens to be in the know. He wouldn't say so. Come right out and say it here on the show. All right, last night's game, incredible stuff. We go to 4-0. As I said, Henry, we did it. We did it. I don't know how long this trend can continue. I'm going to pass on picking out a game tonight because I nearly passed out trying to boot this one home. Mets up 3-0, then 3-1. Peterson's on the mound. He's doing well. He hadn't gone 7 innings. I don't know if it was even all season that he hadn't gone 7 innings. He's in the 7th. Gives up a leadoff double. Next thing you know, the guy moves to third on a grounder to short. He strikes out the second out of the inning. He gets a strikeout. So now we're sitting pretty. And what does he do? He balks in the second run, and then Urias hits Ramon Urias hits a home run. It's 3-3. And we think we're going to be relegated to probably having to go to extra innings if we don't lose this one in the process. And Francisco Alvarez, who was batting $167, well below the Mendoza line since the All-Star break, comes up with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th after the Mets had brought in Diaz in a tie ball game to sort of close things out in the 9th inning, give him a shot to win it in the home 9th. And Alvarez, who hadn't hit a home run since like July of last year, knocks one out of the park. It was never in doubt, and we get the walk-off homer to go to 4-0. So that one was very, very exciting. But you know this, that it's not a win until the money is in the bank. All forms of torture, I mean, they're just minefields waiting for you to blow up in your face when you're betting baseball. And, of course, there's no clock, so you have to go right to the final out. And trust me, my friends, anything can happen. Don't count the money till it's in the bank. Reminds me a real quick story here about a horse and a good handicapping friend of mine had told me about. He said, hey, I'm going to take a shot with this horse, Gulfstream Park. This is many years ago, Argentine Tango in whatever race it was. And the horse goes off at 15-1. We have everything tied into this. Exactus, trifectas, superfectas, hectafectas, twin pick tens. Everything is all tied to Argentine Tango. If he wins, where you have a life-changing score. So sure enough, he looms up on the outside, blows by the field, wins by 5 lengths, and we're euphoric. I'm just waiting around to cash thousands of dollars worth of tickets. My friend is going to pick up 60 dimes on this thing, the guy that gave me the horse, and desperately needed it, as we all did at the time. And I see some real schnook running along the apron to the track there by the railing saying, "He's coming down! He's coming down!" I'm like, "Coming down? What are you talking about?" A trainer claim a foul, which is never honored. I mean, a trainer objection, never honored by the stewards. They don't even look at it. They fine the guy for even bringing it up. And sure enough, that this horse had barely. I mean, I don't even know if you had dusted the other horse for fingerprints or hoof prints, whatever. You wouldn't have found even the slightest bit of damage or mark. And they take the horse down, and all of that money goes back into the pool and to other people, and we end up with absolutely nothing, 0.0. So don't count it until it's in the bank, my friends, because in a million years, and if you go back and happen to look at video of this race, you will be in the same shock that I am here, like a dozen years later. All right, good luck, everybody, with your plays. You had the Greek. He's all over Georgia Tech. Everybody else seems to like Florida State that I've talked to in this game. So might be worth taking a look at the 12 points in that one. We will join you tomorrow. Troy West will be with us. Our guest handicapper Friday will have the professor. And we will see you tomorrow and see if we can't keep the streak alive. I'm going to go and dive into another baseball game on tomorrow's edition of Bury Your Bookie. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jeff Deforrest. See you next time right here on nofilter.net.